A very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for tonight's UBC News Tonight edition. My name is WADDULO Mark Arnold, and right there on sign language is Mugalo Mohammed. We're pleased that you have joined us, and it's going to be an hours-long bulletin, so sit tight. It's now time for the news in detail. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and the NRM government have received commendation for fostering peace in the country and establishing favorable business environment, enabling various sectors, including the communications industry, to thrive. Now, during a courtesy visit to Nakasero State House, Mr. Sigan Ogusanya, the CEO of Airtel Africa, expressed his gratitude to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He acknowledged that Airtel Uganda has amassed a significant subscriber base of 14 million people and generates an annual profit of $600 million US, contributing 190 million in taxes to the government. Additionally, the Airtel delegation, which comprised of Mr. Hannington Karuhanga, Mr. Manoj Murali, and Mr. Dennis Kakonge, revealed that Airtel Uganda welcomes investments from Ugandan citizens, allowing them to purchase shares in the company. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, in response, expressed his delight at Airtel's recognition of the NRM's endeavors to establish peace in Uganda. He drew a parallel between their appreciation and the story of the 10-year lepers from the Bible, in which only one returned to express gratitude to Jesus after being healed.
The managing director has explained how much money he's making.
I'm also a grandson of Elia Chamanyanga.
Kakonge.
Yes, Excellency.
Mnyoro.
Mutoro.
Because the coup was led by the Igbos, so that was why
he was not killed. But what was his name?
I don't remember his name immediately, but I know that I wasn't killed.
Yes.
Activity what was service monda.
Naibu akasente kajja.
Akasente kajja kujja netekana bulungi.
Yes,
3-4 years.
Because these people had planned that they kill all these old leaders.
Yes, sir.
Major Nzwegu.
Cardoni Festival. He was the one who led the coup.
Major Nzwegu and his group, the idea was to kill democratically.
Back. No, sir. We actually put most of the money back into the country. We put in up to $1 billion in investment in the country in the last couple of years, sir, for the good operating environment.
And how much of that do I take as tax?
We paid last year.
Furthermore, government has delivered a brand new ambulance, or rather, police has opened up a special file against the 11 women members of parliament for assaulting 5 police officers. This was during an operation to prevent unlawful processions by these legislators to the Ministry of Internal Affairs office. 3 officers out of the 5 are still admitted at Iran-Uganda Hospital in Nakuru.
The confrontation between police and the 11 women members of parliament left 5 police officers nursing wounds. This was during a police operation intended to prevent legislators from unlawful procession to the Ministry of Internal Affairs office.
Not mindful of the breach of peace that it could have led to. They didn't have ushers. They were a group of 11. And there was nobody to regulate their movement because the police was not part of it. So we want to call upon our members of parliament. Yes, you may be parliamentarians, but you're also not above the law.
3 police officers are still admitted out of the 5 who were assaulted by women members of parliament. Police have established a file of assault against these legislators.
Some of the pictures didn't come out clearly, but there was a lot of confrontation. We saw female honorable members of parliament. Some had removed their shoes and were hitting the officers repeatedly. Others were throwing punches. But you're throwing punches at a police officer who is promoting rule of law. An attack on a police officer is an attack on constitutionalism in this country, is an attack on rule of law. in this country.
Legislators are accused of failure to exhaust alternative avenues in their capacity to engage Internal Affairs Minister.
Of holding an unlawful procession, an illegal assembly, and obstructing officers on lawful duty, assaulting a police officer on lawful duty, depending on the injuries that may arise. All those are cases that we shall be looking at. Our officers tried as much as possible to avoid any confrontation. They used very friendly and holistic language, telling the honorable members of parliament that the procession they were trying to hold was an unlawful procession. And in addition to that, the Honorable Minister of Internal Affairs is somebody whom the Office of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, the chairpersons of the different committees are always inviting at Parliament. And these are options that were not exhausted, and they were there for the members of Parliament to exhaust.
Among the grievances which women legislators wanted the Internal Affairs Minister to address is the continued police brutality while organizing functions in their constituencies. Abdul Nasir Lubwama for UBC.
The Association of Secretaries and Administrative Professionals has urged the Ministry of Public Service to address their grievances, especially low salaries and lack of promotions. They were speaking at an association conference to discuss issues affecting them.
In 2018, the Ministry of Public Service set up a secretarial professional committee to deal with grievances affecting public servants. However, since its introduction, secretaries in government organizations say it has still failed to address their concerns, especially low salaries and promotions.
The law is still pay, and the nature of our work, it's like you are not supposed to move around. Maybe you go for activities where you can get some other facilities. So we urge all those who are concerned, please help us and check on that issue, such that our salaries are enhanced.
Julius Semaganda, the president of the association, says they are still facing challenges and want the government to increase its efforts in training them, especially in the use of new technology equipment.
Even the experience is building, but you find that you have no chance of being promoted to another level. That is affecting a lot of us, most especially those who work with the government. So we urge those who are concerned, let people be promoted such that they are motivated as they do their work.
According to the conference organizers, various pressing issues prompted them to organize the meeting.
Because we secretaries, we get a very small pay, and yet the standard of living in the country is too high. The prices of the commodities have increased, and yet we are also parents. We have children to educate in better schools like King's College Buddo, St. Peter's College Tororo, Manjas High School. So with this small pay, we kind request, as the increased salaries of the scientists, we may also be considered.
I find that a secretary, like for local government, we find that the seal is locked. We move up to personal secretary, and when we remain there, we fail to know what next. Where do we move next?
Ruth Warner, who led the training for the secretaries, urges them to use the limited time they have to get involved in various development activities.
It's to prioritize. The issue is to have goals. Many people do not have goals. Many people do not have mission statements. Many people do not have personal visions. So how will you get there if you're just stunted in one position?
The theme of the conference is Adapt and Advance. I'm Nafka Farida and Joseph Moingo.
Have strategic positioning. If you look at
Now, taking you a little back, human rights defenders are not impressed by the manner in which police and women legislators engaged with each other at Parliament. The Executive Director, Women in Development, Jane Francis Oling, describes it as unfortunate, the incident in which a member of Parliament was seen boxing a police woman officer. The senior human rights defender wants legislators and police to work together in harmony with each other.
It is a concern that started with mishandling by police of the woman member of Parliament for Buvuma district. Susan Mugabe had organized belated Women's Day celebrations in her district, only to be stopped by police.
Women's Day is not an NRM day.
The manner of stopping is what prompted her fellow female legislators to petition the Speaker.
They should be taken to court. They are breaking the law, they are violating the Constitution, they are criminals.
The petition was to be followed by another petition to Ministry of Internal Affairs. The procession for the same was, however, stopped. This led to a scuffle that saw 11 female opposition legislators arrested and detained at Central Police Station in Kampala. This is the kind of confrontation that some human rights defenders have condemned.
So Ugandans are only claiming for their rights, and they are not being responsible for certain behaviors that can violate their rights. We like so much to fight with the police. Why?
Jane Francis Oling is the Executive Director, Women in Development, who says that whereas the MPs may have had a genuine cause, attacking the police on duty was uncalled for.
As a principle, human rights advocacy or defense has to be very peaceful, has to be non-confrontational, and we believed that these women would do the same, that they would explain to the police how they are taking their petition and they would be guided. But I saw they refused to be guided, and there became a fight between them and the police officers on duty, something that did not please us. These women are accountable to us. We expect them to act in a way that the rest of the women in this country can follow.
The incident saw Deputy Speaker of Parliament temporarily suspend the House sitting. This was for a brief meeting with concerned authorities, something Jane Oling disagrees with.
We are going to meet in my waiting area, House suspended for 10 minutes.
Suspending the sitting means there's a national crisis. That wasn't a national crisis. I think they needed to give it a second thought. These issues would be handled much later. It wasn't, I don't think it was a national crisis.
It took the intervention of the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Annette Among, for Central Police Station to release these MPs. Still in disagreement of this move is Jane Francis Oling, a senior human rights defender.
I think at that point the police looked very powerless, okay? What she did was right, but at what point did she need to do that? She moved in there at CPS and removed these ladies out, and of course took them to Parliament. I kept thinking, how vulnerable are our men and women in uniforms if these things keep occurring? So Parliament has to continue teaching its own to be peaceful.
As of now, the standoff continues to make headlines, with the Inspector General of Police summoned to appear before the Uganda Human Rights Commission. The extent to which this will address the differences remains a matter of time. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Now, in other news, the Deputy Inspector General of Government, Dr. Patricia Achano Kiria, has applauded the elected leaders and the office of Lamore RDC for the unity they exhibited in fighting corruption. This led to the recovery of 840 million shillings, part of the 1.2 billion shillings meant for the DRIP project, which was allegedly stolen by some corrupt individuals from the OPM office in Lamore district. Let's have a look.
Earlier this week, the Deputy Inspector General of Government, Dr. Patricia Acheng Okiria, was in Lamo district to return 840 million shillings, part of 1.2 billion shillings, meant to implement World Bank-funded activities at Palabek refugee settlement. The money had allegedly been stolen from the office of the Prime Minister in 2021.
To relaunch the projects which had been hampered because of corruption. This is a Dr. Deep project for the construction of the OPM staff quarters at the refugee settlement camp in Palabek, and also construction of the cultural site, conference hall at the cultural chief's residence here in Palabek. This money had been stolen by individuals from OPM. The Inspectorate of Government was able to recover the money, and we are now relaunching the project so that this money can be put back to good use.
This came after the leadership of Lamo District requested government through the Office of the Inspector General of Government to allow the recovered money be put back to enable them work within the project timeline as the IGG's office continues with its investigation to recover the remaining balance.
As much as the court case is still continuing, we send a plea. We requested them to do disbursement of the money which was recovered to the district so that the projects can continue. Meanwhile, the court process also goes on, because we realize that these projects have got a time frame.
Christopher Omau, the chairperson of Local Council 3 of Palabek Agili Sub-County in Lamo District, says the relaunch of this project is a sign that their dream of peaceful coexistence with refugees is now restored.
We look at 2 or 3 things. One, peaceful coexistence between the host community and the refugees. Because I cannot even forget for saying this Palabek settlement are different from the other settlement in this country, Uganda. Why? This is the settlement where the refugees and the host community are staying together in the same compound, because the land which has given to us these refugees, individual people are offered their own land to the refugees.
DRIP is a World Bank funded project which was meant to provide peaceful coexistence between the host community and refugees in Lamo District by establishing a community hall and staff houses for OPM officials serving at the refugee settlement.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, His Grace Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has asked Christians in Uganda to continue with the noble cause of supporting the retired clergy. Kazimba says that a number of retired clergies are living in miserable lives because they lack support. Now, he made these remarks on a 3-day pastoral tour of the Diocese of Kigezi.
The Archbishop of the Anglican Church of Uganda, His Grace Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, is for a 3-day pastoral visit to the Diocese of Kigezi, where he's touring different church projects as well as interfacing with the clergy. While commissioning Hamura Secondary School project constructed by Bernard Zimbeire, Archbishop asked the clergy to ensure that all churches in their areas promote developmental projects.
And I pray that the Lord will bless this also. That every diocese in Uganda will have a project to support their ministers.
Hamura Secondary School was donated to the church by Bernard Zimbeire, a businessman from Rwanda district. Bernard Zimbeire, the founder of the church school, says that he was prompted to establish this school as a reward for the church for the support it rendered to their family during his childhood time. Archbishop Kazimba noted that the initial development of churches was done by missionaries, but the responsibility has been shifted to the communities and therefore should be embraced positively.
I'm so grateful for this efficient church.
Bishop Kazimba later commissioned a petrol station, a project meant to help the clergy financially.
Church ministers, they serve honorably and retire miserably. utilize this petrol station. As I know my church, they don't know how to support themselves.
According to the Bishop of Kigezi Diocese, Right Reverend Gadi Akanjuna, the project is aimed at ensuring that retired clergy get some financial support from the church. The State Minister for Trade, Industries and Cooperatives, David Bahati, assured residents of Rubanda district that the government is committed to establishing an iron ore factory in the area to boost production of resources. After his tour of Rubanda district, Dr. Kazemba Mugalu moved to Kabale, where he commissioned a business complex building and opened the All Saints Church.
Residents of the hilly district of Ruchiga in western Uganda have asked the Prime Minister of Uganda to intervene in improving on service delivery. These issues were raised by leaders from Ruchiga district during the belated Women's Day celebrations held at Ramuchuchu grounds in Ramuchuchu sub-county.
Ruchiga leaders have told Premier Robin Anabanja that they are going through challenges to deliver services to the people. Led by the area chairperson Robert Mbabazi Kakwerere, the leaders told the Prime Minister that they are facing several challenges like land dispute at Ramuchuchu and also upgrading Muhanga Kisizi 60-kilometer road to motorable tarmac.
This road from Muhanga, which sees was promised long ago to be tarmacked. I'm happy my brother Eddie, the also person for one to church, yet Gamao, and I have chances which I'm about to yambe, but to go.
The Chama Shanyarazi ga umeme. Umeme tuberire umeme. Abantu nibashashule sente zabo konko musande noshanga bari kugabonaho emironi nk'ebiri.
The President of the Republic of Uganda in 2019 akatoraganisa kugira ngo naza kutuyamba compensating claimant or complainant walatwire ugomba rwamututo.
In response, the Prime Minister assured the people of Ruchiga that the government will act on all their issues. Nabanja told the public that President Yoweri Museveni has directed that all districts be given a minimum of 1 billion shillings to work on roads. Nabanja asked the people of Ruchiga to embrace government programs so that all people join the money economy.
NRM Yagamba, we want to involve everybody. Nukwesi yetu ekurakurani. So nywe abali hano. Museveni abatumire kandi akwenda. Inywe na mubeche mukora musobole kukola isente. Money. Okenda kulima ebicholi.
Okubayina itaka liche okenda kuhinga ebicholi.
Okenda kulima amajani. Okenda kulima ebikaijo. Okagenda omupamba. Omazire kusirana. Low value crops.
Ebyo nebintu ebitali kubasa kuhasente.
Meanwhile, Robert Mbabazi, the LC5 chairman, told the people that Ruchiga has already received 1.7 billion for PDM and that each SACCO has already received over 50 million shillings.
As you promised us when we were in Changwanzi,
the chairperson Ruchiga Women Council, Jocelyn Arinaitwe, told the Prime Minister that as women leaders, they do not have facilitation to enable them perform their roles. The belated Women's Day celebrations were organized by the Ruchiga Woman Member of Parliament, Calorin Katusime Muhwezi in conjunction with the district local government. Nabanja inspected schools, roads and also interacted with hundreds of residents of Muhanga and other areas as she moved in the district.
And with that, let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, we'll be back with more news, so please do stay tuned.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Bara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *100*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *100*10#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *100*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president. She is the hope of our community. And as a community leader, I will talk to others about how we must protect her against child marriage and teenage pregnancy because it affects us all. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from pregnancy. Because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas. The thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River. The joy of discovering new traditions and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Welcome back to still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We now take you into more news from the bulletin. Now, the Bamasaba people residing outside Bugisu sub-region have organized the Cardoni Festival with the aim of showcasing their cultural norms and beliefs in the wake of massive cultural erosion thanks to modernization. The chairperson organizing committee, Margaret Chisale, says that the other aim is to promote the Bamasaba cultural dance as a tourism product to fit and fetch them finances for the development of their homeland.
Conservation of culture is one venture that has over the years missed attention as majority of the population, especially the elites, tend to abandon some norms and beliefs. For the Bamasaba people, however, the case seems to be different. A section of these people residing outside the Bugisu sub-region have created a platform through which they will unite to conserve and promote the Cardoni cultural performance.
We are here because we want to promote our town.
We are here because we are trying to call everyone to come and invest in our town. Mbale is now a city. Would wish to have all these companies out there. So we call upon all the investors. We have the land, we have beautiful people, we have the right food, you will not fall sick. Our roads are being worked on, so infrastructure is coming up really well. So please come join our town, come join in the development of our region.
Already, arrangements to host the second edition of this unique dance festival, come May 7th, are underway.
We have a lot to showcase, from the dances to the food to the drinks, the local brew. I know everyone should be asking about that. In local, we call it the kamalule. Kamalwa.
When I hear the word Cardoni, it means excitement, enjoyment. So I kindly invite everyone to come and attend, come and see our culture.
It's actually the second best interesting dance in the whole world. In the whole world, do we know that? So we are so grateful that we are celebrating our culture and exporting it to different people. That's why it's in Kampala, because we are exporting, like we want people to know what our culture is all about.
A Cardoni enthusiast, Godfrey Muholi, advises other tribal groupings from Uganda and beyond to borrow a leaf, copy and paste this idea as a safeguard against cultural erosion.
I call upon all cultures to emulate what the Bagisu have initiated, and I pledge, as a company, we will always be there to partner with you.
Cardoni, showcased specifically during the cultural rites of Imbalu, is one of the many dances among the Bamasaba people found on the slopes of Mountain Elgon. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
Yes, see you at the Cardoni Festival very soon. In other news, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has reaffirmed his commitment to fight corruption, saying that the corrupt will go to jail, lose their jobs, and as well refund what they have stolen. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni was speaking at the John Kagezi 6th Memorial Lecture held at Speak Resort, Munyonyo. He said that the corruption has caused stagnation and growth of the country. He, however, applauded the DPP's office for taking a tough stance on corrupt government officials. Let's have a look.
So where we are now, it is possible for this economy of yours to jump from 50 billion to 500 billion just because the raw materials are there and the infrastructure is there. What is needed now is investment in adding value. It will jump. It will become a $500 billion economy instead of the way it is now. You will be approaching those countries which you keep talking about, South Korea, what have you. We can overtake them very quickly because we have everything. For them, they don't have what we have. For us, we have got all the raw materials, but we have also got now an educated population which has got education. We can really jump and become a modern country. So that's what. So we are coming. Don't panic. It takes time, but the economy is growing. Now, our big problem now is corruption of public officials. This is the one which is slowing down our rate of growth. And I'm glad you are very harsh. Jenna Bodo said so. Those people must go to jail, must lose opportunities of leadership, but they must pay back everything they have stolen. Is one of the brakes on the rate of growth. So I don't want to take the technique of prioritizing cases works. For instance, here Jenna Bodo was saying, you advise us to concentrate on murder, but I've got only one prosecutor. In my guerrilla planning, my guerrilla prioritization, I would agree that if you are to increase numbers, because she said she needed 10 prosecutors in the murder section. Yes, then let's agree that because we have prioritized murder, we have prioritized rape, we have prioritized maybe corruption, we have prioritized terrorism. They we can have more numbers there, full numbers.
All our former DPPs and all our invited guests today, thank you so much for coming and we appreciate it. We would like to thank the DPP, top management of the office of the DPP, our development partners, our keynote speaker, the moderator, and our discussants.
The Minister for Presidency, Mariam Babidi Babalanda, has urged leaders and residents of Chibale to prioritize women empowerment and equal opportunities for all vulnerable groups and desist from violating women's rights. While officiating the belated International Women's Day celebrations held at Muhanji Primary School in Mugarama Sub-County, Chibale District, Minister Babalanda clarified that women have been empowered and can now handle work that was previously done by only men.
Women in Kabale district have established and benefited from different income-generating activities that include weaving, crop harvests, and handcrafts. The Minister for Presidency, Mile Babalanda, during the belated celebration of Women's Day, urged residents to denounce forced labor and gender inequality.
President, nti yamanya nti abakyalo oba oli awo somehow somewhere bayinza okuba ng'ensawo zaabwe tezifunctioninga bulungi oba oli awo ng'akasente katonotono nagamba nti kambateerewo empowerment ez'enjawulo abakyala muyinawo weefu nimbye.
Kabale District Woman Member of Parliament Noelin Kisembo Basemira appreciated President Museveni for ushering in women emancipation, affirmative action and productive government programs geared towards lifting the status of women in higher levels.
The Prime Minister is a Muchara, the Vice President is Muchara, Honorable for President is Muchara. There are reasons why. So in Saba, itona bakadano abantu wa mukama, zilimba bazi za mukama, dukano na choyegero.
We started business, we have women in business, we have women who are politicians like us, and we have a lot.
Minister for Finance and the Buyanja County Member of Parliament Matia Kasaija and Dr. Emily Kugonza, Member of Parliament Buyanja East, lauded the NRM government for infrastructure development in the district, but asked politicians to desist from politicking.
Ebya campaigns tibikaike tuleme geno mu campaigns because mukuja kudivert.
So honored to host the Minister for Presidency, Honorable Mili Babalanda.
The function was held under the theme Accelerating Equal Opportunities in Education, Science and Innovation for Gender Balanced Future. Mary Namkose, Andrew Msinguzi, UBC News.
The visiting head of public health program from the US Best Bloomberg Health philanthropists, Dr. Kelly Henning, has hailed Uganda's steps towards having in place new transport and road safety regulations geared at reducing road accidents on Ugandan roads. Dr. Henning was meeting civil society members on road safety under their organization, Resecu, at the Ministry of Works and Transport boardroom in Kampala.
The head of the public health program of the US Best Bloomberg Health philanthropists, Dr. Kelly Henning, has commended Uganda for the positive steps of putting in place the new regulations.
Dr. Henning, who is in Uganda on road safety regulations program, was meeting with members of the Uganda Civil Society Advocacy Group on road safety under their umbrella organization Rusaku at the Ministry of Works and Transport boardroom in Kampala.
But we're very excited about the progress here. The fact that Uganda now has a really best practice law in place with regulations that are just about all completed, that are also best practice, and now a 5-year strategy, really puts Uganda, as I think one of the coalition members mentioned, at the top of the list in terms of sub-Saharan Africa on the policy side. So that's very exciting, and congratulations, because it was a lot of work.
She pledged continued funding to the Rusaku members to popularize some of the new regulations to the general public, especially helmet use, driving under the influence of alcohol, and safety belt use.
We're very happy we can partner with you all here in Uganda on policy issues. Now you're at a point where you've actually done that part. So the question, I think, is what next?
That when these regulations are made, at times they are put to shelves, but we are assured that she will not stop supporting the implementation of these regulations. She will also support the validation of the regulations and also the standards made by the Uganda National Bureau of Standards.
And our core was that after we have worked on the regulations and policies, we need to cascade down the road safety policies to the subnational levels. We need to implement road safety at the district level, at sub-county level, so that the people at the community level can understand about the cause of crashes and how best we can reduce them.
Apart from Uganda, the Bloomberg Health Program has similar programs in other African countries of Ghana, Kenya, and Ethiopia.
Employers and employees have been urged to register with the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, in order to avoid fines as stipulated in the NSSF Amendment Act of 2022. This was revealed by Mr. Karamaji Victor, Senior Manager Public Relations, NSSF, during a sensitization campaign about registration in Mbarara City.
Officials from the National Social Security Fund, NSSF, Friday toured Lakeside Dairy Company in Mbarara City in a campaign to encourage employees and employers to register with the fund in line with the NSSF Amendment Act 2022.
From 2022 going forward, every business, every employer, irrespective of how many workers you've got, you're going to be onboarding your workers now. So the bottleneck of 5 workers before has been removed, which means it has opened up the entire country to NSSF. What that does is, using Lakeside, why we're using it now, they have a component on their books that are part of the informal sector that prior 2022 were not obliged to be onboarded.
Sylvia Nayebare, the Human Resource Manager of Lakeside Dairy, commended government for this initiative of registering workers because they benefit a lot as a company.
All of us, we are registered except those workers who are not working on a daily basis. We have those ones whom we call that, let's say there is too much work, those ones who are not working every day. There is too much work, maybe we want those people to work for only that day, one day. But the ones who are working every day, all of them are registered. So we are compliant. We are around 300 people here.
The NSSF Amendment Act 2022 seeks to expand social security coverage, enhance the spectrum of beneficiaries available to savers, and improve the fund's governance. All employers, irrespective of the number of staff they employ, must make mandatory NSSF contributions for their staff members.
I think for an employee, it's obvious. You're saving for your future. Retirement comes to everybody, and we know that anything can happen to anybody, and our research shows that the majority of employees in Uganda actually have only NSSF as their savings.
Victor Karamaji, the NSSF Senior Manager Public Relations, urges both employees and employers to register with the fund before 28th June 2023.
As we started with the implementation, the fund realized that many employers were actually not registering and many employees were not registering. So last month, we launched a campaign where we go around the country encouraging and enrolling all employers and employees. The campaign is called Now You Can, meaning if you're an employer, now you can start registering and contributing for your employees.
The National Social Security Fund is targeting enrollment of 1.2 million new members by 2025. Mary Namkose, Nelson Nakatorira, UBC News.
Now, Ugandans have continued to expose the stretched performance of the health sector across the country. The Permanent Secretary for the Ministry of Health, Diana Twine, commended the efforts by Ugandans to seek accountability, but also emphasized that the ministry is still faced by limited funding. Now, to put this into perspective, the issue of To put this into perspective, the senior economist Augustus Nwagaba believes that a national insurance policy could redefine the quality of health care.
Ministry of Health officials have over time reiterated the need to increase resource allocation to the health sector in order to improve performance and effectiveness of service delivery. The limited resource envelope has thrown the Ministry of Health under public criticism for failure to deliver quality health care. This characterized by doctors striking over non-payment while more outbreaks emerge.
So this sector is overwhelmed, even when we are putting in money, but it is totally overwhelmed because of the population pressures and others.
Using the funds allocated to the ministry, medics have managed to counter diseases that were affecting the population.
Look at all this population, by the way, is surging because of good health. You know, when there was improvement in immunization, children are not now dying of the 5 killer diseases. They are now, all the immunizable diseases have been eliminated now. That is health, that is under the Ministry of Health, which people are not looking at.
In context to extending quality health care, senior economist Augustus Nwagaba believes a national insurance policy can support the realization of quality health care.
When you have insurance pool of resources, you are putting in a pool resources contributed for purposes of indemnifying, for purposes, to use a simple English, of helping that person who will be in kind of problem.
But who should contribute to the insurance policy?
Because if you say it is only for the formal employees, then these are going, in Uganda these are few. They are less than 250,000, the entire public service. And then you are going to add the private sector, which is also very small. And we have 45 million people. Actually, we are now coming towards 50 million. And you are going to say that less than 1 million is going to fund for 50 million? The answer is no.
Nwagaba argues that a surge of communicable, tropical and lifestyle diseases can affect the realization of an effective health insurance policy.
And insurance normally calculates its premium on the occurrence of an event. And in the event that these diseases have very high burden of occurrence, then the cost is going to be high, and if the insurance premium is small, the pool will be smaller, the portfolio will be smaller, and it will be overrun without a number of people already coming for services.
It is key to note that the National Development Plan 3 recommends prioritization of health and education as drivers of transformation. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News in Kampala.
In other news, the Ministry of Education and Sports is advocating for positive disciplining of children as the best alternative for corporal punishment. The Ministry of Education and Sports, together with Raising Voices, have launched the Positive Discipline Coalition in commemoration of the International Day to End Corporal Punishment, celebrated every 30th of April.
Use of corporal punishment was abolished in Uganda in 1997 due to its negative implications on children. Corporal punishment, however, is still used in schools and communities, since people think it is the fastest means of disciplining a child. Civil society organizations, including Raising Voices, are now calling upon the public to withdraw from these punishments.
Disciplining disciplining children does not mean that all the time you have to punish when they've made a mistake. Create an environment for them that will enable them not to make the mistake in the first place. When we bring it down to schools for the teachers who are here, having things like the school rules and regulations is creating that environment. Orienting the children when they come. That you've come to this school, in this school we come on time, in this school we don't wear white shoes, in this school they've not yet worn the black shoes, but you're already telling them what to do so that they don't do the wrong thing.
The alternative to corporal punishment that effectively help children to make better choices and sustain good behavior. These include disciplinary talk, verbal warning, writing an apology, oral apology, public apology, and right work, among others.
According to experts, corporal punishments have led to failure of transition of learners and high school dropouts.
But because of the sense of corporal punishment, we've failed completely to retain this girl child at school, and even the boys. Then too, the teachers are always struggling to think they are really teaching to make the learners really get what they mean. But because of the corporal punishment, it has led to total failures of the learners to get exactly what the teachers are presenting.
Beating children make them to dislike at times education and dislike what they are teaching. But if you try to implement some of the issues put across by raising voices, at times children come back on board.
However, we have learned from experience that the root cause of the use of corporal punishment is the misuse of power by adults. Rather than use our power to nurture and guide children, we have humiliated and hurt the children.
Cultural norms, the common phrase, spare the rod, spoil the child, and ignorance are still delaying implementation of the Positive Discipline Coalition.
That is our tradition and an African way of life, or that it's endorsed in the Bible.
But how we approach it should also be faithful. It should be a religious approach.
The Bible does not say the rod is a stick. Yes. The rod is a direction. Yes. So even when you're correcting, it is giving the correct direction. It does not say, I don't even see a picture of a stick in there.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Buy Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundawa. Best movies I teach you. When I'm going to the school, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refuses to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
At Timex Nutrition Center, we advise you on the right foods to eat, exercise profile to adopt, and lifestyle strategies which are compatible to your blood group and genotype. This empowers your body to prevent and treat many diseases like diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, ulcers, obesity, and many others. For more information, find us at our head office in Kampala on Nassa Road, Conrad Plaza, 2nd floor, or call 0758 819 952 or 0778 288 361. We also have other branches in Mbara and Jinja.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too!
go! Dial star 100 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 100 star 10 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 100 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Hello? Hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Hey, Kasozi, my brother. Long time. We last met when we were at campus. It's been a while, but you are the person I'm looking for.
Campus? Really?
Hey, you don't remember me?
Okay, so how can I help you?
I'm stuck in Gulu making millions, and I need to urgently send money to my sick mother. But I can't find any mobile money agent near me. I've sent the money to your phone, as you can see the message. It might take a few minutes to come through, but I urgently need you to send the money to my mother. Let me send you her number, and you send it to her chap.
My friend, I'm afraid your mom is going to die.
What?
Because I don't know you, I never went to campus, and I'm also in Gulu. So can we meet at CPS, we talk about it?
Stay tuned for what Kasozi does next.
Tofera, refrain from unnecessary engagements with strangers over the phone. This message is powered by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial star 100 star 21 hash or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. We're now taking you into the world of business. The Northern Corridor Transit and Transport Coordination Authority has committed to address the logistics chain stalemates and physical bottlenecks on the route. At a meeting of technical experts in Kampala, Omai Nyarandi, the executive secretary of the corridor, noted that they are working with partners and stakeholders to attain seamless of Helag.
The Northern Corridor, served by the Port of Mombasa in Kenya, is instrumental to regional development and more so to Uganda, and it is on this backdrop that the meeting of technical experts from Uganda and Kenya has been held in Kampala.
When you talk of Northern Corridor taking 98% of Uganda cargo, you are talking of almost 8 million. So Uganda is very key to Kenya, and every effort should be made between the Port of Mombasa, Kenya Ports Authority, and the Northern Corridor to ensure that we still remain partners.
Top on the agenda is to discuss the state of development of the standard gauge railway, update stakeholders on the physical conditions of the meter gauge railway, to review and appreciate the logistics bottlenecks along the Northern Corridor routes.
What people need in railways is reliability, efficiency, and reduced cost. Now, the moment you develop railways in this region, you'll be promoting regional integration.
But we still have challenges in the corridor in terms of efficient movement. What we are doing as a Northern Corridor Secretariat is we are setting a meeting in June for the major stakeholders to discuss the NTBs along the corridor.
The Northern Corridor Standard Gauge Railway project has been temporarily halted in Naivasha, Kenya, which is about 592 kilometers from the port city of Mombasa and approximately 570 kilometers from Naivasha to Kampala via Kisumu. The slowness in the execution of the project raises questions regarding its completion timeframe.
Now, on the Kenya side, the government of Kenya now has gone to China, to Exim Bank, to solicit for funds. As I talk now, the team is actually in China, mobilizing the resources to start now the construction from Naivasha, Kisumu, up to Baraba. There is a need to harmonize on the implementation plan for the SGR construction between Uganda and Kenya.
Despite its relevancy, the corridor faces numerous challenges that affect efficient cargo and logistics services, and they include dilapidated infrastructure, vandalism, and inefficient intermodal connectivity.
The issue of port efficiency also is being discussed. The Port of Mombasa should not be taken to be a storage port. Cargo should be able to come in and move through. And they have given us assurance that that's one of the areas they are doing. This is because the government of Kenya actually has put in a lot of money to invest in the port facilities.
The key expected output of the technical experts meeting is to find an agreed mechanism for resolving logistics chain, stalemates, and physical bottlenecks.
Well, I wasn't quite sure of that word, but it means that the working partners and stakeholders are attaining seamless management of haulage. That's the word. Thank you for being a part of the 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. Stay tuned for another bulletin at 10 p.m. My name is WADDULO Mark Arnold, Mugalu Mohammed on Sign Language.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Jerry Con! Hey, Master Blaster! Touch him, man! Bang Jerry Con with muscle! Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava! Best movies I teach you. When I go to the Clergy, because of the camera is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Eh? You step it on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy milk from Umaru. And the woman refused to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you.
Okakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako, n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga. Awamu teri kitulema.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for following all our programs. We welcome you back from the Eid celebrations, and thank you so much for following all our programs. I now welcome you to this week's edition of UBC One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa, where we host an individual and have a conversation with them from different walks of life. We have leaders, we have business people, we have religious leaders, we have politicians, we have people from different walks of life. And we have another one this particular weekend. He's a very senior leader in this country. He has served Uganda, I would say, wholeheartedly as a professional and as a leader. Yes, he's a medical doctor at that. He has served Uganda as a Minister for Finance, Minister for Health, and Minister for Defense. And as well, he has lifted our flag high at a level of an ambassador in China. We want to know how life is now and what he is doing and how he sees things. We are going to discuss Uganda generally in his view. Join me, welcome Dr. Crispus Chionga. He is our guest this evening. Doctor, we are so honored to have you on this show.
Good. Jordan, I'm glad to be with you.
Yes. How are you? How is life? How are you doing?
Life is normal and business is normal.
You see, I talked to some senior player of the Uganda Cranes